It took all night getting this video put together for you. So just please make sure you subscribe, like, and share the video with all your family. So let's go ahead and get into the banger.
What's happening with you?
Hold on.
Nothing much. I'm just doing a little podcasting right now. Just asking some questions. You want to participate?
Feel free to ask your question.
Heck yeah. So, if you had a time machine and you can go forward or backwards, where would you go and why?
Only go forward, never go
Only
back.
forward? Okay, and what would you do in the future?
I wouldn't go that far in the future, to be honest. But just to see what it's like, see
Okay.
what, see some of the things that's coming for us, and see technology.
Are you religious?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm more spiritual than anything. I'm agnostic.
Gotcha. Is there like anything in particular that you're looking for, like technology advancements, human healthcare advancements, government getting better?
Longer life.
Okay, so you want like a longer life. Gotcha. Now, would you want that longer life if things were to continue the way they are right now with so much hostility in the world, or would you
I
want
would,
that longer life when
I would,
things calm down?
I would want longer life. Period.
Oh, just period. Okay. How old are you right now?
29.
Okay, we're the same age. I'll be 30 in May. So, what have you done with the 29 years you've had so far? Have you lived it to the fullest?
I live every day to the fullest.
I
I
love
don't.
to hear that.
I don't live for yesterday. I don't live for tomorrow. I live for the moment. It's kind
I
of
love
why
that.
some say it's a hobby. It's kind of what it means.
Okay, I like that. So, another question for you. So, have you ever made yourself vulnerable to like deepen a relationship with somebody? If you need an example, I'll give it to you. But in what ways did you make yourself vulnerable?
Tons of vulnerable. Communication, physically, emotionally, sensitively.
And did it work out? Did it ever fail, like kind of backfire in your face?
Yes, tons of times.
Tons of times. Okay. You want to share some of them examples or anything?
I mean, I've tried to work it out with exes that potentially could have been something, and it just didn't work. It was better
Okay.
off the way it was. So
It's good you realize that too, because I mean the future's so bright. So many people out there that if something doesn't work out, sometimes we hold on to it and want to make it work just because we know ourselves. You know how much good we bring to the table, and sometimes as men, we definitely feel like we can fix anything, and sometimes we can't, unfortunately. So, but it's good, like there's definitely more fish out there and more people to meet, better relationships and stuff like that. So, and I appreciate you participating. I know I don't know what you'll be on most of the time, but I'm gonna hit you with that favorite because maybe next time we talk, you know, you run the show. You feel me? Like tell me what you're about and all that stuff.
I appreciate you, brother. I
No
kind of
doubt,
ask,
no doubt.
I kind of ask, dope ass deep questions as well. But
Okay,
I appreciate you. It's always a space for you to be yourself here. Feel free to come around anytime.
for real, for real. I got you. I got you. All right. Well, take care.
Peace, love, and light.
All right. What is going on? How you doing tonight?
I'm
I'm
good.
good.
I'm doing good, doing good. So I'm doing a little segment tonight. It's called Bedtime Stories with E and J, and I'm just asking some questions. Nothing too deep, nothing too crazy. Are you down to participate?
Yeah.
So if you had a time machine that could go forward or backwards, which direction would you go and why?
I would go backwards because it would be nice to get to know my mom because she took her life when I was 3.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. Ways do you think that would make your life better? I got an idea, but just for the people.
Um,
Uh,
Maybe kind of knowing like what I come from would help a little.
Okay. Do you think you'd grow up differently? Like some of your values or some of what motivated you would kind of be different with your mother in your life?
100%.
100%. Okay. Is there anything else you would change? Say you could go forward in time instead of backwards. What would you look forward to?
I would look forward to my kids and my significant other.
Okay. Are you in a relationship right now?
I am, yeah.
Okay. Married?
No.
Okay. Any future getting married?
It's a fresh relationship, so
Okay. Okay. So it's still brand new, but you're working towards it. That's your goal, like long-term relationships and marriage and kids, basically.
yeah. I mean, I feel like
Thank you.
if you don't have that as an end goal in a relationship, why are you in a relationship?
Exactly. 8 years married here, guilty, 3 kids. So, I got another question for you. Have you ever made yourself vulnerable in your past relationships, and did it work out? What are some examples?
Have I ever made myself vulnerable?
Yes.
I mean, I feel like I make myself vulnerable like every single day.
Okay. In what ways?
With everything that I do, honestly. Like I work with kids for a living. Like I work for the Department of Child Safety, and I feel like things that I struggle with, I love helping kids in ways that like I needed help at that age as a little kid. Like I needed someone like me in my life at that age. So I feel like every day, like in what I do, it's me being vulnerable because it's me basically like helping them because that's what I needed back then, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. I like that answer. That's a very good answer. That's a very good answer. I like to just kind of give some examples of like, times I've made myself vulnerable, because it could be friends or family, but being a parent, you always strive to be the best parent possible. So me, not having a father growing up and the mother I did have growing up, um, I pride myself in being a good father. So if I see somebody that's older, I always say, what are some tips that you have? What are some tricks that you have? And so I make myself vulnerable because they feel like they need to give me something basically that I am seeking information, and it makes them feel important. And sometimes that can backfire in your face because they can hit you with like things that you already know.
Right.
But thank you so much for participating. I'm gonna hit you with the favorite, and hopefully next time we come around, you can tell me more about yourself. That's
Yeah, for
definitely awesome. So,
sure. I hit you with the feedback too.
Chris, how's it going, brother?
What's going on?
We're doing bedtime stories with E and J right now, and I got a couple
Oh,
questions for you if you want to participate.
yeah, man. Go ahead. What we got?
So the first question is, if you had a time machine that could go forwards or backwards, which direction would you go and why? Hey, John.
You said choice of going forward or backward.
Yes, sir.
It's funny you should ask me that question. I saw a guy with a shirt on yesterday, and on the back it says, "Don't look backwards. You're not going that way."
Absolutely love that shirt. That's a very
You've
good shirt.
you've seen that before?
I haven't seen it, but when you described it, it sounded something I
Yeah.
would wear.
Don't look backwards. You ain't going that direction. You go forward.
Exactly.
That's why your, windshield on your car is 4 times as big as your rear view mirror. So you can see where you're going, not looking back. So,
Exactly.
okay. So go forward. I don't want to go back. Well, I would like to build a time machine and go back and visit like the
Hmm.
good times that I had, growing up and stuff. But,
Definitely.
life is a journey. It's not a destination. So you just got to keep moving forward.
Very good answer. So
Yeah.
now that you're going forward, what are you
Yes.
looking forward to?
The next phase.
Of life in general? Just for you or just like the world?
Um, See, I come from, a religious background, so I know there's more out there than what we know. There's way more out there than what we know. So I
Lots
want
of
to see
areas we
what's
haven't even touched. We haven't even put human feet on.
right.
Like,
There's a lot more, and maybe one day we'll see that. So that would be a good vision in the future.
definitely. Well, them are some good answers. So I got another question for you. So in your past, when have you made yourself vulnerable, and what's the reason for making yourself vulnerable to both friends and family? And if you need an example, I have a good one for you.
Okay, because when you say make yourself vulnerable, I'm not quite sure.
Gotcha. So say, I'm a parent, of 3 kids, wife, and I'm a pretty stand-up guy, a pretty great father in my eyes, and I get lots of compliments. Not that it matters. So I'm the type of guy that, other parents that are older than me, in order to make them feel special and like I need them for something and that they can offer me something, I ask them for, hey, do you have any tips on being a good parent? and some that makes me vulnerable because then that opens up the can of worms. Like the advice they're giving me, I may know already, and sometimes people don't like taking advice or hearing advice that they don't like, but I'm okay with being vulnerable to strengthen that relationship.
No, exactly. I think everybody should be always asking questions of others that they might have tips and tricks and things to help you along the way. I mean, that's what we're here for, is to help each other out. That's what we're all here for.
Definitely. So that's just an example. Whenever you ever made yourself vulnerable, we had other people say things like, with communication, they made themselves vulnerable.
I don't know. That's a difficult question for me to answer. I mean, I don't know if I can say that I put myself in a position where I was vulnerable in such a way, like on purpose, but like I think we're all vulnerable. Like I think, most people don't want to let other people see that side of themselves.
I'm going to point one out because I know it's like a very tough question. I think you make yourself vulnerable by being so nice. Nice people make themselves vulnerable because they become praised to people that want to prey on nice people. You
I've
get
had that
walked
happen a
on
lot in my
sometimes.
life. I've had that happen a lot.
And that's making yourself vulnerable because you value that friendship, and instead of speaking up in an argument, you would rather just, if it's not, dire, you'd rather just let it kind of fall off a little bit. That's, to me, that's making yourself vulnerable for the
Okay.
betterment of your relationship that a lot of people don't
Well,
really look at.
I guess that's a good one then when you say that. I think
Yeah.
that's probably a good one for me because I have a lot of times where people
Yes, random.
because I feel like my niceness and that kind of thing would make me vulnerable.
Hmm.
People come at me a certain way and they think because I'm nice they can run over me or manipulate me.
And they
And
can't.
I have to, I realize what's going on, so I have to, in a nice way, let them know that you can't do that to me.
Yep. And see, there we go. See, we found one. I told you we'd find one because
Okay,
everybody
well
makes
that's a
themselves
good one.
vulnerable.
That's a
Like,
good one. Yeah, that's a
yeah.
good one.
My brother told me today, he said, you can't be tall, handsome, and smart in the world we live in. And it's true because he's tall, he's good looking, and he's very smart. But people think because he's tall and good looking that he can't be smart. But that's not the truth. You know what I
I
mean?
think everyone is beautiful,
Everybody,
and
whether you're tall, short,
I'm not right.
skinny,
I'm not
fat,
talking
doesn't
about like
matter
just looks wise. I'm saying everyone's beautiful.
on the
Everyone
inside.
in the inside and outside. I mean, it's the way you are. If you let your light shine, people will notice.
Exactly.
You know.
Well, that concludes the segment. Thank you so much for participating. And I knew I'd hit you up with one so random. Whenever you're live, brother, I'll make sure I get you in. So, brother, we're doing a little podcast episode. Are you down to participate?
Yeah.
Cool, cool. So it's called Bedtime Stories with E and J. You can find it on YouTube. So today's questions are: if you had a time machine, would you go forward or backwards, and why?
Backwards.
Oh, I like it. We don't get this one a lot. What would you change?
I don't think I'd change anything. I just feel like the world was much more enjoyable when there were common fundamental realities and truths,
Hmm.
and people had jobs to do, and you didn't have distractions of TikTok and Instagram for 17 hours a fucking day. Like, you found something you loved, you worked hard on it, you figured it out, you found a good partner, you fucking dealt with shit instead of being able to just find the next new thing all the time. Like, you fixed shit, whether it was your TV, your relationship, your car, you just fixed it and then kept going forward, and you weren't always distracted by the new this or the new that. And you know I think it was probably a simpler time, which means that there's less distraction, less stress, less worry, less unhappiness. You could just live a simple, nice life.
Kyle, that's an outstanding answer, brother.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the best answers I've heard tonight. It's very in depth, very thoughtful. What's up, V? Very, man, you hit it. Like, you already had that thing loaded up in the chamber, ready to fire it. Like, I
Well,
like that answer. It shows me into your soul a little bit and like where your priorities and morals are. I
yeah, I
agree
don't know.
with you.
I'm a very traditional kind of person when it comes to like relationship standards and stuff. And I think, you know, maybe the 1950s, 60s, where one person could have an income, one person could take care of the house, you could raise some good kids, you could, you know, I think that's something we're far from today, and we're seeing the impacts of that in our society where nobody fucking cares about anything. There's always something better. You're always chasing the next thing. It's competition nonstop. There's not a respect for the there's a whole movement about equality instead of just accepting that, you know, each person has their own strengths and weaknesses, and as a team you're better off together, right? So
I agree.
I think that the 50s, 60s were probably some of the best times in at least North American history, and fucking right now it's a confusing hellhole when nobody knows what the fuck's going on.
I agree 100%. Good freaking answer. I love it, Kyle. That's a very good answer. So my second question is, in your relationship, ooh, that's not good. I have to edit that out. In any of your past relationships, whether it be, you know, friends, family, or just, you know, significant other, have you made yourself vulnerable? And can you give me an example of when that happened and how it turned out?
Like I've been vulnerable with my homeboys. Like I think that's something amongst men you have the ability to do, because you can be vulnerable, and depending on the situation, and they'll either hype you up, hear that. So I've been vulnerable with most of my male friends. Any previous dating relationships that I've had, if I've ever been vulnerable or shown like a weakness or, you know, a fear or a past trauma, I've always noticed that the relationship goes significantly downhill within about 3 months after that. So
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend it to most men to show your vulnerabilities to the person that looks up to you to be a strong protector of them, and instead, you know, talk to your boys about some of your vulnerabilities or your weakness or the tough times you're having, because, you know, you show that woman a weakness, she's not going to have as much faith in you anymore, based on my experience.
Got you. That's a very good answer there too. Look at you go. So I basically answered answered my question. So I'm just gonna let you take over the floor and, you know, talk about whatever you want, you know, off air. Everything past this point will basically just be edited out.
Oh, I was liking the questions, man. You got more? Fucking go for it.
Oh no, that's just it. Just the two. Usually it just lasts like the first battle. So like I didn't want to be rude and like cut you off in the middle of it. So, you know, we did the battle again. But usually like within that little period of time, I get those two questions and like an answer in, and then move on to the next one. But I want to get to know you a little bit better, brother. Like,
Yeah, I guess most people on here are fucking, they don't really have too much logic or reason behind why they answer a certain way, right?
no, they just kind of
Not,
throw it out there
not
like
a
that.
whole lot of brain working up there, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you. Most people, yo, BMF Nasty, how you been, brother? How you been? But so how long you been on the app? Yo, thank you so much, brother. It's been a minute since I seen you, dog. We're doing something totally different now.
I've had this app for
Yeah.
like 10 years when it was like a whole different app, to be honest, but I've been streaming off and on for probably about 3 or 4 months.
Okay. So me and Kyle, we just conducted a little interview podcast for my YouTube channel, and he had some really good answers, you know, really good feedback, and you know, we're just kind of following up with, you know, we killed the music and basically just shooting the shit right now, learning about each other. So I've been on and off for about 3 years now. Kind of left the app, you know. I got on, my mom died, I got off, I got back on, you know, got really toxic, you know, not me, but people on this app are just horrible, and then I got
Oh,
off and then
absolutely.
got back on. So
Yeah, I find it's a 70-30 split. Like
True.
70% is just absolute trash, and 30% is like, that was worth the, you know.
So we're doing a little podcast little episode. You down?
Huh?
I said we're doing a little podcast episode. You down?
Yeah.
Cool. So it's called Bedtime Stories with E and J. So I got a question. If you had a time machine and you can go forward or backwards, which way would you go and why?
Slow down. Jesus
All right.
Christ.
So if you had a time machine and you can go forward or backwards, which way would you go and why? Dirty, I see you.
If I had a time machine,
Mhm.
Yo,
Correct.
slow down. Easy. Let me put my glasses on. Let me see what type of
He said, "Let me put my glasses on."
what
I'll
time
cry.
what?
Okay. All right. So check it. If you had a time machine, right?
Uh-huh. Slow down,
And you
slow
could go
down.
and you
Uh-huh.
can go forward or backwards.
A few moments later.
I'm fucking dead.
I know. Which way would you go, though? Would you go forward or backwards? Listen, man. Hey, this shit's gonna be on YouTube. Stop fucking up.
Yeah.
I gotta edit that shit out.
Thank you.
Oh, funny, man.
All right. So if I had a time machine, which way I'll go?
Yes, sir.
I will go inside the time machine.
I said not where at. Which way?
Wherever way the fucking wind blows me.
She said good answer. All right. So, okay, next question, because you answered that one. That was a very good answer. Thank you, Soda.
Yo, I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, so here goes the serious question that all the ladies out there want to know about you. Have you ever made yourself vulnerable in a relationship with a friend, family member, or a significant other?
I never had a relationship. I don't know what love is. I've never had sex. Yeah.
What about a family member? You got a family member? Like Babyface, you know?
No. It's a lonely world out there, man. It's a fucking cold world. I'm just staying, staying low key.
Just low key?
Low key, yeah.
You ain't got a sneaky link or nothing like that? Yo, 30, thank you. Thank you. None of that.
Nah. I don't tell my business on here, even if I did.
Heck yeah. Well, hey, in this last 30 seconds, I know you got some merchandise. Show it off so, when it goes on the YouTube, people can, know where to get it at and, like, what it looks like.
Wow, you really recording me?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no joke. It's for real.
I'm fucking dead, bro. But, yo, this is the merch. Go to merch on IG. If you like it. Somebody type it in the comments.
Yeah, type in the comments. Hurry up. 10 seconds.
Soda,
10 seconds.
Merch on IG.
And you can cop this shirt. Now, what are the prices for that hat right there?
What's up, bro?
What's going on, Rob?
Man, didn't they?
They sure did, man. It was exciting. You know what I mean? You already. But hey, brother. Listen here. We're doing a podcast series right now. It's called Bedtime Stories with E and J. I don't know why I had a brain fart. So again, it's a Bedtime Stories with E and J. So I'm asking questions to people. So the first question on the list is, if you had a time machine, would you go forward or backwards, and why? Yo, V, what's up, brother? Welcome back. Thank you for the footballs.
Backwards, because I wish I could took care of my grandfather.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, we'll move on to something lighter. So, in your past relationships with friends, family, or significant others, did you find yourself being vulnerable to strengthen that relationship? You'd go forward because the past was traumatic. I like that. Okay, Camo. No, never. So, are you a traditionally nice person? Maybe, like, are you nice and like sometimes people walk on you because of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one I like to bring out of people because a lot of good people don't even realize how they're making themselves vulnerable. But I see a lot of good people out there that literally they're so nice that they'll just let people walk on them all the time. And then they'll feel bad and they don't want to say anything because they don't want to like ruin the relationship. And so as that goes on, it kind of makes you resent that person in a way. So what I like to tell people, and it's something that I'm working on currently, is being able to understand that if somebody's doing something to you that you voice that you don't like or that they should know better, it's okay for you not to be cool with that person because at the end of the day, there's lots of friends and family people out there that will take you in without all that stuff. Like my hardest thing is being able to let go of somebody that is toxic. I find myself always running back to it because one, it's familiar, and two, I feel like I can fix everything, and sometimes I can't. So
yeah, I'm gonna hit you with the favor, big dog. Like,
I got you too, Rob. You been cool, dog. What is up, brother? So we're doing bedtime stories with E and J right now. We're just asking some questions. It's for the YouTube, for the podcast, for the YouTube. Figured I'd hit you up. The first question is: if you had a time machine, would you go forward or backwards, and why?
I would go definitely backwards.
Okay.
The reason why, obviously, I'm pretty sure people give like a general, just to kind of like, I feel like knowing my worth now and then kind of going back and kind of maybe utilizing that is something that I would want to do. Obviously, talking to my older self now, telling my younger self, like, hey, you got more potential than than you could imagine and you think. Just, and like I said, like, so I was always like self-doubting myself. Everybody has those times where they kind of, question. And but I feel like now I'm just, having faith in God and kind of just understanding my worth and value, and kind of like my purpose. I feel like I could, if I wasn't doubting myself a lot back then I probably could have done a little bit more better, but I'm okay with that, so I'd say backwards.
Great answer. No, we don't get that answer a lot, but that's a very in-depth answer. Heck, we don't even get people wanting to go back in the past. We have people wanting to go to the future. So definitely love that answer. So the next one's kind of a brain teaser in a way. Some people get it, some people don't, but I'll ask it. If you need an example, then I'll give you one. So in the past, have you found yourself purposely being vulnerable to friends, family, or significant others just to strengthen that relationship, just to make it stronger? In what ways you personally have you done that, and how did it work out for you? Did it work out? Did it work or did it not work?
It obviously worked out because I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Like, for example, this app, I definitely like helped a lot of people on this app, and not just the app. And I'm not worried about like getting like the what is it called, the recognition back. Even
Mhm.
friends off the app in general, I've always been a nice, a big-hearted person. So, but when you always kind of help a lot of people and you start drifting from yourself and kind of like helping your own self-loving yourself, I was loving on everybody else. And people's intentions are different. They're gonna want to love, on you, but at the same time, they're gonna take what they're gonna get and go with that. You know what I mean? And so for
Exactly.
me, sometimes just like having friends or even being in a relationship, whatever, like when people switched up on you, you're just like, what? Wait, what? But at the end of the day, I knew like I gave my my pure heart, my being genuine and just understanding like, hey, like it's okay. It made me a better person because I know that I don't look back with any regrets. You know what I mean?
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Knowing that
You
I'm
know, the one with the people that don't really know that they're being vulnerable and they don't have an answer for it.
yeah,
I find it's common that good people don't know that they're being vulnerable by being good. And when I bring it up to them and I explain to them, like, I see that you're a very nice person, and I can see how that can be vulnerable. That could be vulnerability to some people that are preying on, nice people because they know they can take advantage of them and they know they can basically get them to bend to their will. And
right.
so, like, I've run across a couple of people tonight that they just didn't know that they had any that type, in them. They were unaware, but when I brought it to their attention, they're like, "Yes, yes, that makes sense. I get it." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Right. No,
yeah."
I
And the reason I asked because today I found myself basically, I'm a parent, of 3 kids, and there were an older couple in the back, and they have kids too. And I don't need any advice on how to be a good dad, because people that grow up with broken homes turn out to be some of the best parents. So um, I asked them their advice and some tips because I wanted them to feel included. I wanted them to feel like I didn't know everything. I wanted them to, I wanted to strengthen our relationship because, we're in the first building block of it. And I found myself kind of, it takes a guy with, or a girl with a lot of intestinal fortitude to sit there and listen to some of the things, like some of the advice that you're hearing that you already know, like it's kind of given. And I found myself in that situation, kind of almost regretting like making myself vulnerable in that way. Maybe I should ask something about like cars, or been like, can I get some tips about cars? And maybe not something that I know a lot about, because I left that conversation kind of feeling like very, very vulnerable, and like they maybe question my parenting, like I didn't know how to be a parent. But again, that's not their fault because I put them on the spot. I asked for those tips. I said, can you give me some advice? So they don't know what's in my mind. They don't know what I know or what I don't know. So it's my fault. But I will say, I made myself vulnerable to strengthen that relationship. And that one, it didn't backfire, but I didn't leave with warm and fuzzies, basically. So, but that's why I bring up that question today to kind of, see how people make themselves vulnerable to like strengthen relationships, because I like to make people smile instead of cry. So I'm always putting myself out there. So
right. And that's something that we always do, like being human and kind of knowing, why are we here for, like our purpose. And I feel like, in my situation of, like my pops passing away and me having a son and kind of like co-parenting now, and just kind of trying to like, and just being that goofy person in high school, just laughing and joking. But when, things get real and nothing's a joke no more, you kind of like, you still have your friends and everything like that, but as you get older, it's kind of like you kind of see who do you gotta separate away from. You know what I mean? And like
Exactly.
and you start seeing like who's real, who's not, because everybody's gonna live their life. That's like a given. And at the same time, it's levels. Like I have a lot of friends, they're married, but they don't have kids, or they haven't been through like like a drug like kind of lifestyle, like with parents and uncles, and even myself, like being like a recovering addict. A lot of people don't know the lifestyle. So when I'm going through like depression or something, like back in the day, they didn't know how to handle it. So now it's like for them to kind of come back because they see me on social media, like, oh, hey, how you doing? Like it's like, where you guys at? Like, and it's not saying like I needed them to them to be there, but just to kind of hear how people like go about through things. It's like I got to hear from a friend that's asking like how I am doing. It's like, bro, you have my number, why don't you call me? Like, like
Exactly.
why don't you, or why don't you just reach out? For them just to reach out, even though I might not get back to them on time, but even just to see them attempt that instead of hearing it from a word of mouth, that's kind of like, like I said, like I had friends that didn't even hit me up, but like, like you hit me up, like when I'd post something, hey, what's up? And I probably didn't get to it on time, or I didn't see it till like the day after or whatever, but just you out of this app. And that's something that's like,
Exactly.
good thing about social media, and something like that's not bad, but then at the same, depending how you use it, you meet friends all over the place. You know what I mean? No one wants to be, like I said, and that's something that for me, I kind of was like, I don't have any judgment on nobody. I don't hold grudges. I just see it like, what, you're your own man, you're your own self. Do for you, but at the same time, like I just don't step on toes. I come in peace, be respectful to all. But end of the day, it's just you and the man upstairs, and he knows your journey already. So, like I said, like there's times where I was in my own little funk, and I'd have my kid, and I just, I didn't want to like, him see that. But now that I'm realizing that, you have faith, you pray, not for the stuff that you want, but just the kind of guidance that you need, like it'll happen for you, and it's happening for me. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying like, oh, this and that. It's a work in progress, not just for myself, just but for everything, that's where I'm at. It's more like now you're just more like silent and humble to know like you're still blessed to be alive, and you just kind of that vibe from somebody like,
I
you've
do.
been there, I've been there. Like, yeah, it's just like that. So, and like I said, you're definitely one of the people that, just not saying randomly, but then just like, shockingly out of nowhere, like, wow, he understands. You understand because you feel that vibe. You've been there. You know what I
Definitely.
mean? And that's hard to kind of like come across a lot of real people to really know like that feeling, and just to kind of see it in somebody's eyes. So, yeah. So I don't know if we're getting off topic, but
No, this is a great conversation. This is what it's for. This is what I do. This is what we do. And this ain't even like, it's funny because it's a podcast, but this is what we normally talk about stuff anyway. So it's the same. But it's funny because you talk about social media. I was doing the podcast, and I randomly battled a guy twice. And the first time I did the round of questions, and the next time he did, and he hit me with this question. It was, if you had to, if you only could live with one thing, what would it be? And of course, I would say, as me as a religious man, Jesus Christ, and he asked why, and I said, because that man himself died for my sins. He died for a man that knew that would commit evil. Basically, he died for that pedophile. He died for that murderer. And how many of us would walk in front of a bullet for a pedophile? How many of us would walk in a bullet for, in front of a bullet for somebody that, robbed your grandma or something like that? None of us would, basically, and so he did that. So I said that was my first answer. And then like a fleshly answer would be my cell phone view. So we're doing a live podcast, for YouTube. So are you down to participate?
Yeah, why not? Go on.
Awesome. So this is Open Air 24/7 first and foremost. Just OPENAIR 247. Look it up on the YouTube. And this portion is called Bedtime Stories with E and J. Not in Queens Island, not yet. We will get there. So the question I'm asking today is, if you or anybody in the comments had a time machine, would you go forward or would you go backwards, and why?
I'd probably go backwards.
Okay.
And the reason I would go backwards is because I would have told my younger self to do the school, you know what I mean? Not be so lazy within the schooling shit. That's about it. Wait, what's the YouTube channel?
Open Air 24/7.
All right, guys, get on it.
That's a very good answer. A lot of people don't like going in the past, but I like your answer.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, they
Nah,
like
I
going to the
think there's
future
heaps
for
of
some
things.
reason. So,
Nah,
follow
fuck
up
the future.
question.
Then you're gonna
So,
like you're gonna die quicker. Like who wants to die quicker? Ugh, make it.
yeah,
Ugh.
no. Some people said they want to meet their maker. I'm like, yeah, I agree. That's dope if you like that.
Yeah,
So
no,
I got
no.
5% left, so hopefully we can get this interview done. So the next question is, have you in the past with any friends, family or significant others, basically made yourself vulnerable to kind of strengthen that relationship? If you need an example, I got you.
Yeah, go on. Give me an example first. Shits and giggles.
So an example would be something like, you ask questions that you already know the answer to make somebody feel needed, like they're offering you something that you already have.
Oh, absolutely. I think most people do that, don't they? I think most people do that. That's that.
Not
Yeah,
everybody, but some do.
I think
Creative.
I think a majority of individuals would do that. Depending on their past and trauma and fucking life experiences and so on and so forth and relationships and shit like that. They need that extra reassurance. But even I've done that for people. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Do it with a smile on your face. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So what is yours? What's something that you've done besides that one? Because you can't steal that one.
Next question.
Oh no, there's only two, and they're meant to last.
Be two. There can be. I reckon make up. Here we go. I'll test you. Why don't you make a question up on the spot? Let's go. Make a question up on the spot.
All right. So, what's your favorite color?
Green.
Why?
It's calming, nature, money.
They do say green is like the easiest for the eye to observe. So, like if you like writing green, and people can see it easier and are more attracted to it.
I agree. It is. It's just it's a color that you like. Even if you go into a shop and there's clothing, you direct your eye to that more because it's just an appealing color. Because it's calming. It's calm. It's nature.
Vegemite. I've never heard of Vegemite.
Vegemite's an Australian spread. Have you never heard of Vegemite? I'm gonna favorite you.
No.
I like you.
All right, I got you too. I got you back. No, I've never heard of it. Definitely gonna have to talk about that. I got 5% or 2% now, or I would rematch. So nice meeting everybody. Thank you so much. Yeah, open air 24/7. You're gonna be on.
Make sure again you subscribe, you like, and you share this video, and make sure you hit that bell for future notifications. And also enjoy the bonus content for staying. Peace out, y'all.
Hey, got a question for you.
You said you had a question.
Yes. The question is, so we're doing a segment. This is a live podcast, right? It goes on YouTube and whatnot. So the segment's called Bedtime Stories with E and J. And so the question is, if you had a time machine and you could go forward or backwards, which direction would you go and why?
I would definitely go forward because life goes forward.
Thank you. Okay. Now, what would you look forward to in the future? Technology, medical intervention, family.
I would be looking forward to Allah.
Allah. I like that answer. That's my answer. That is awesome that we share that, because honestly, I want to see if it's going to happen in my lifetime or my kid's lifetime or my kid's lifetime. So very good answer. I like it. Anybody else want to chime in on that? Down in the comments. In the meantime, I got to ask you the next question. So, in the past relationships with friends, family, or significant other, do you find yourself, or have you found yourself being vulnerable to strengthen that relationship? Thank you, love.
Yes, I have found myself vulnerable, trying to.
Okay. And what do you do? Like, what are some things that you admit off you to make you vulnerable, and how has it worked out?
You always battle your brain and your heart, so it's like you listen to this one, but then that was the false narrative. You should have listened to your brain. So,
gosh, hey, that is such a great answer. That a lot of, I'm not sexist in any way. My wife, she's the smartest woman ever. But that's like one of the things women don't necessarily grasp about themselves, that they think with their heart versus their mind, and that's what a lot of females do, is think with their heart, which isn't wrong. It's the right thing to do, but sometimes what the brain is telling you is the most important thing. So that's a very good answer. I'm shocked with it. What are some other things? So when you've done that, when you've thought with your heart instead of your mind, what happens?
No, I'm saying like sometimes it's a battle. I'm not saying that I always go with my heart.
Yeah. You don't always go with it, but when you do go with it,
I feel like that's the good in me.
That's definitely a good quality. 100%. Heck yeah. Yes. Oh, King Moose, you didn't have to do that. I appreciate you. Psst. Oh, I got him. I hate flies.
Thank you. Make sure you hit him with the fave.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Thank you so much. I'm gonna hit you with the fave too because you participated. So I appreciate you.
Definitely. And like I said, open air 24/7, just as it sounds, OPENAIR 247. It'll be on there. And what I was looking for was, two beautiful ladies, because I already got like 8 different people. But you know how YouTube is. You need clickbait. So you'll definitely be like one of the main pictures and whatnot. So I'm looking for one more now. So I know how the YouTube algorithm stuff works. So thank you so much for participating, though. Like I'm definitely grateful for that. And you had some really great answers, and your peeps are cool. So
Thank you. Have a good
she is a
night.
good listener.
Yes, you guys make sure you guys favorite me, Diamond.
Exactly. Everybody, make sure you go favorite her over here. Is it this side still? Everybody, did they switch the sides yet, or am I pointing to her?
You're over here.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate you. I got you back. All right. Well, hey, everybody have a great night. Okay.
You too.